Hi everyone, welcome to the new talk of Beyond Perceptions, a platform to get real insights about the roles so that you can land at the right role at the right place. Today we are going to talk about one of the very famous and core role in the banking industry. It's market risk quantitative researcher. But before we do that, please subscribe our channel to get insights about new roles in various organizations. And also, if you want to know about any specific role, please comment. And there's also a form. If you want to share your own journey, we'll be really happy to have you on our show. So let's get started. So today we have with us Mr. Mukesh Kumar, who have been in this field for around 8 years. So let's hear from him how he got into market risk field after pursuing his MBA. So hi Mukesh, welcome a lot to our show. It's really a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Veenam. It's indeed a pleasure to be on this unique insights platform. To introduce myself, I'm Mukesh. I'm a market and liquidity risk professional. I've been in this field for almost more than 8 years now. And during these 8 years, I've covered plethora of roles across consulting and modeling in a consulting firm as well as in different banks. And primarily, right now. I'm focusing on ALM and liquidity risk based out of Amsterdam. I'm working for one of the top European banks, ING. And prior to this, I was working in London. I was associate director with Moody's Analytics, wherein I was heading their market and liquidity practice globally. And before that, I worked in different roles across market risk modeling for Morgan Stanley and for different other firms during my consulting careers. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Thank you. So Mukesh, how you got into the market risk field, like from the very first time, for the very first time?
Well, it's an interesting question because, to be honest, I had no idea about finance when I started pursuing my MBA. And during my MBA, I did a summer internship at a leading financial firm in Mumbai on their trading desk, and that's how I got interested in the whole idea of becoming a finance professional. And within finance, there are a lot of plethora of roles, so I had to choose, okay, what is the role that I'm interested in, and that's why I started exploring, different kind of certification like CFA and also some quantitative finance certification like CQF. And I also spoke to a lot of people across industry as well as to my seniors to know what exactly are the roles which are like quite much in demand. And that's where, right after my MBA, I started working within post management consulting, and started my work as a risk management professional. And after a couple of months, I started getting hang of, okay, what exactly this role entails, and I found it quite interesting because I'm more of a quantitative guy, and that's how I started focusing more on risk domain within finance, and that's how I ended up being a risk professional.
Thank you. Now, could you also specifically explain like what are the different things that you have to do as a part of a market risk quantitative researcher? So describe this role from your experience.
Okay, yeah, sure. I think I would like to take a step back because directly entering into a market risk is quite broad. I would briefly explain what risk management is. So risk management entails different kind of risk from a financial institution perspective. So you have the key areas within risk are market risk, credit risk, operational risk, liquidity risk is the new emerging area, and we also have so-called enterprise risk framework. So enterprise risk framework is the overarching framework which focus mainly on the non-financial risk side, all the governances and model risk related things. While the actual risk are primarily divided into market, liquidity, credit, and operational risk. I focus only on the market risk domain out of these different risk areas. And within market risk, again, there are a lot of distinction, different kind of roles. So I particularly focus on the analytics side or the model development side. And lately, I have started covering different roles from market risk manager to ALM and liquidity risk. Uh, yeah, so those are the different kind of roles I've focused so far.
So thanks, Mukesh, for explaining the broad spectrum of financial risk management. Now diving deep into specifically market risk quantitative researcher profile, which you had in Morgan Stanley. Can you please explain how does that role look like and what were your day-to-day responsibilities?
Yeah, sure. As I just explained, within financial risk, there are so many risk types. Even that within market risk also, there are different roles. I was particularly focused on market risk quantitative research role, which is more of an analytics or model development kind of role, and it entails a lot of knowledge around statistics, econometrics, financial economics, mathematics, stochastic calculus. So those are the key prerequisites for this kind of role. On day-to-day basis, what we were doing was we were making statistical models using sophisticated econometric techniques to predict what could be the movement in the market based on the information that we have. And that's where we were mostly developing regression based or multi-factor regression based, and just to name a few techniques, those kind of models. Obviously it's much more complicated than that. And apart from that, we were also involved in quite a lot of interaction with the desk risk managers, where we were helping them explain why the risk of the particular financial instrument is moving in a particular direction because of the market movement. So yeah, that was our kind of main role at Morgan Stanley.
Uh, what are the prerequisites, both from the academic perspective and also like some vocational courses that you need to know before you get into this role?
Yeah, as I just mentioned, the marketer's quantitative research is specifically a very broad role. The key requisites, I would say, for a person to become a marketer's quant to have a very strong knowledge of statistics, econometrics, financial instruments, and economics. These are, bare minimum. And also, you should have to have a, quantitative degree. For example, you should understand mathematics, physics, stochastic calculus in a very good way, because these all are used in some format for the overall model development. If let's say in terms of qualification, you want to say if you have an engineering background, I would advise you read extensively on statistics, econometrics, and financial instrument knowledge, which also entails a bit of economics to understand okay what you are gonna do during this role. And let's say if you have a let's say different kind of degree, I would suggest you to take more quantitative degree, for example, stats, mathematics related education to get into this kind of role. And to be honest, in terms of let's say what is the key knowledge area or what is the key requirements from bank side, they usually prefer PhD for such kind of role because it requires very strong quantitative background and degree in a numerate subject. Yeah.
So, Mukesh, what gave you the most energy in this role?
Okay. Well, I'm quite an inquisitive person, so I always have a knack for asking a lot of questions, and often I want to learn a lot of things in a short span of time, which is not realistic. But I guess that's exactly what is required for these kind of roles, because as you can imagine, there are so many prerequisites to study a lot of different subjects. Uh, that's what you should have an inherent trait as an inquisitive person and a zeal to learn a lot of new things. Because I can guarantee you, you have to stretch yourself every day during this process. You have to be on your toes to learn everything new. Because every day there is some new research paper coming in the market. So and there are a lot of PhDs already working on it. So yeah, you should be ready to learn a lot of new things in a short span of time, along with the coding, hands-on coding. Yeah.
So that gave you the most energy, which is to learn always new things every.
Indeed, of course, because I like to, understand new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the new things, can you give us some example? Like what are these new things? Like, do you have to learn, say, new technology each day, or you have to learn new modeling techniques? So what does it mean?
Yeah, so realistically, what it means is, for example, I come from an engineering background. I didn't had a strong knowledge of, econometrics or statistics because I never read them even during my undergraduate or during my MBA. So that's something was new to me, totally new to me. So I started learning statistics, econometrics, time series analysis, which was quite a core part of this role, and that's what I learned on the job. And in parallel, I also had to learn about the financial instruments. So I was taking CFA and other exams in parallel just to enhance my knowledge. So yeah, these are the kind of things you have to do on the fly, and every day some new statistical technique is coming. So you should be ready with learning new techniques. On the coding front also, it's quite a rapid world where coding languages are changing. So I started with VBA as a language, then I learned Stata, then I learned R, and now I'm learning Python. So you should be ready to learn something new language as well.
So is it mandatory to code as well, along with preparing the methodology for the models, or is it an optional
Uh,
basically?
Yeah, to be honest, it depends on the kind of role you have. So if you're a market risk desk manager, as I said, the roles are quite different within market risk also. If you're a desk manager, you need not to know too much coding, but at least you should know all this methodology concept. But if you are part of market risk, quantitative research or analytics, any kind of analytics role within market risk, you should know, coding to implement those conceptual ideas into practice.
Hmm. Okay. And what were the main challenges in this role, or the things that you didn't like?
I think main challenges are also related to what I explained previously. It was like learning a lot of new things during a very short span of time. So usually in practice, you get a project which you have to complete, let's say within 3 months, you have to come up with a new methodology and assume that you have no idea about, what is the problem, how to solve it. So you have to speak to a lot of stakeholders, come up with a methodology, study from quantitative perspective, and within that 3 to 6 months time framework, because obviously banks are under pressure to ensure that their models are latest models. And those are the key challenges, and you have to learn all of them at the same time in the shortest span of time. So I can imagine you'll be spending hundred of hours reading new topics,
Yeah.
and not to mention coding as well. You should know coding. Yeah, Vinam, so, personally for me, because I enjoyed being an inquisitive person and learning new things, so it was not such a challenge to me. But obviously, there are so many priorities that work, so you have to prioritize all your tasks, and it was quite a stretch for me. So often it was very hectic for me. Let's say initial 2 3 years. Yeah, so I would say that could be a very big challenge for new entrants.
I'm guessing then you won't have partied much.
No, there is
What
no
it is,
fun if you don't have party. So we did make sure that you work hard and party hard.
party harder. Okay,
That's our motto.
that's great then. And you worked with Morgan Stanley, so how did you like the culture over there? Like, yeah, if you can share some insights about how you felt working there, and some insights about your team and overall culture.
Yeah, sure. I worked with Morgan Stanley from 2013 till 16, so almost 3.5, 4 years. And back then it was just like a normal Indian corporate culture. It was hierarchical, but there were a lot of opportunities to learn new things. A lot of decisions, especially there in our team, were driven by New York because that was the headquarters. And in hindsight, I could say, okay, maybe we could have got a bit more visibility at a global platform. However, now I know that Mumbai is one of the top destinations for Morgan Stanley, and there's a altogether new framework in place now.
So, Mukesh, was the perception of your role at Morgan Stanley the same before joining?
I think it's pertinent to mention here that in different firms have a different role definition, even if the advertised job or the job description is exactly same. So to be honest, the role entirely depends on the team you are going to, because of the way firm organizes their business lines or what's their overall strategy for sharing the same kind of work across different teams. And yeah, that is quite evident across the banks I've seen. So it is very subjective. Uh, Coming to the role definition, I think I had a slightly different understanding of the role compared to the actual role. Maybe because I hadn't explored all kind of roles back then. I also knew only one kind of role during my initial days. But during the hiring process, I got quite a good idea after discussing with the management that what exactly this role will entail, and I like that challenge, and that's why I chose it.
Cool. And what was the next role you moved into after Morgan Stanley?
Yeah, at Morgan Stanley, I became quite an expert in market risk, and I wanted something new as a challenge. That's where I moved to a very big consulting company, to be honest, a rating niche global rating agency, which was looking to set up an entirely new market and liquidity practice in India and globally. And I took that as a challenge and moved there to set up the new team and spread the business across the globe. And we were quite successful.
Great. Any tips and tricks that you want to suggest to people who are new in this field and who are really interested in moving into market risk?
Yeah, sure. I think I would say, as I explained, it's a bit quantitative role, so people should brush up definitely on stats, econometrics, because that's I can guarantee that's the most widely used topic in market risk research role. But also they should also learn coding, and particularly now Python is the most famous language, as per my knowledge, within the modeling world. So they should be ready to learn coding as well, or maybe they should already learn this, and a bit of stochastic calculus and understand stochastical mathematics and calculus concepts. So I think those are the key prerequisites.
Thanks a lot, Mukesh, for giving us really good insights about this role. I'm pretty sure that our viewers will have now a much better understanding of this role. And if anyone who's watching us would like to know more information about it, feel free to comment, and I will be happy to get in touch with Mukesh directly so that you can ask more questions. So now, Mukesh, we have something fun for you. It's called rapid fire round. And as
Okay,
the name suggests, you have to answer like really quickly, and it'll be a very quick and fun round. So let's start. Describe
all
market
right.
role in 3 words.
Mm, Maybe let's say call it as fire on your ass.
Nice one. One modeling technique which you have used most widely in the market risk domain.
Oh well, this is the easy one. It's regression analysis.
Cool. What's your favorite working time? Morning, noon, or night?
I would prefer noon night. I'm not at all a morning person.
Okay. And one misconception about this role.
Yeah, I think it's important to clarify this. It's different from being a desk trading risk manager and other front office role. It's more of an analytics focused role.
Okay. And the last one, a fun fact about yourself.
Maybe let's say I'm a very big binge watcher. Any action or spy movies, bring it on.
And what are you watching these days?
Watching a new series, Condor, which is regarding CIA.
Ooh. Okay, so thanks a lot, Mukesh, again for being with us in this show and sharing really good insights about this role. And again, all our viewers who are watching us, if you want to know about any other role, feel free to comment. And if you also want to share your insights about a particular role, there's a form attached in the description. So please fill out that form. And yeah, I hope it helps you. Thank you.